Hi, my name is John Whitehead, and again, welcome to this week's video blog post. I'm an executive leadership coach, and I work with senior and emerging leaders in organizations, all kinds of different organizations. And over the last few weeks, I have been exploring the work of Kouzes and Posner's The Leadership Challenge, and some other things that have come out of that book, The Leadership Challenge, plus their assessment, the LPI 360. The LPI 360 is an assessment that I share with a number of leaders, have them complete it. It's where they answer a series of questions about their own leadership style and how their direct reports, some of their peers, and their manager also answers those same questions. And one of the things that Kouzes and Posner looks at is how frequently as a leader, we do X, Y, Z. And those things are the behaviors, the 30 behaviors that come out of the 5 practices in the Leadership Challenge. The first practice is modeling the way, and it's how we show up in the workplace. And for me, it starts with the self-awareness piece. And those of you that have watched my blog posts or read my blogs, followed my posts for the last number of years, know that it does start with self-awareness for me. It's recognizing who I am as an individual, how I tend to behave, how I tend to communicate in different situations. But what is it that makes me who I am? Well, lots of times we look at what we call our core values. Those things that are the basic core underpinnings of who we are, what those beliefs are that drive us. And if I was to ask you today, right now, what are your 5 core values? Would you be able to rhyme them off, or would you really need to think about them? I'm going to say for most people, they have to think about it. The average person that I've come across really doesn't know off the top of their head what those values are for them. They have to think about it. And in fact, I've said this in the past, when I started my coaching practice, I was actually quite surprised at how few people had actually done work on what their values are, which is one of the reasons when I was teaching leadership at the university level, one of the units I brought in was on values, having those students go through a process or exercise to understand what their values are. And I've written so much about values. I've done a number of blogs about values, and I'm going to add those to the comment section of this video. But today I'm talking about it because it is one of those behaviors that Kouzes and Posner ask about, and that falls under the modeling the way. And it builds a consensus around a common set of values for running our organization. How often, or how does the leader build a consensus around a common set of values for running their organization, their department, their area, whatever? So if they have those values, how are they showing up for them? And one of the things I had the students do in the course that I taught was pick the values and then take a look at each one of those values. How do those values show up for them at work, at home, in the language they use, how they manage their time, and the people they connect with? How do they show up? And recognizing how those values might drive some of those activities. So there's my homework for you this week. What are your values? If you haven't taken a values test, Google something. There's a number of them online. Google a values test, do it, take it, and then take a look at what those values are for you. Pick 5. And how do they show up for you in the workplace? There's your homework. And again, I look for comments, I look for suggestions at the end of my weekly blog posts, so feel free to add those. And I look forward to talking to you again next week. Have a great week.